Thank you so much for making time for us today. Ramón, you are known as a very experienced, innovative developer of real estate, of residential real estate. And so we would like to speak to you today about a very important subject that concerns all of us owning residential property, be it an apartment, a townhouse, or a villa. And as you know, the EU is targeting that by 2030, the houses, residential properties, should reduce their emissions by at least 11.7%, and by 2040 to 90%, and then by 2050, zero emission. So we would like to gain a little bit of valuable insights from you, how to approach and how to achieve this target, which within 6 years or within 16 years to 90%. I guess for new properties, it's not such a big challenge, but maybe for older properties. So I would like to know from you, Ramón, could you maybe explain a little bit more to us what means zero emission and what means renewable energy?
All right. Well, zero emission means that the energy source of the house, of the villa, comes from electricity. So up until now, the energy source was either diesel or natural gas, and that's what we would use to heat up the house and to heat up the pool for any energy use. So that means that the first step is that we need to move to electricity to be that source of energy. Now, up until now, electricity was very inefficient to heat water, because it would consume, it would take up a lot of energy to use that source. Now there's been a major breakthrough with aerothermia, which is very efficient, and this the last generation of heat pumps that can be used to heat both pool or just water or underfloor heating. So that is the first question, is the energy source that is clean. Then the next step is to see how much of that energy do you need. That can be achieved in two ways. One, which is more like the passive house strategy, which is to have a house that is practically a shoebox and it doesn't have any windows. So as it doesn't have any windows, it will preserve the heat, or it preserve the cool. As it is in Sotogrande, villas have very large windows, very large porches, so it is impossible to use that strategy to achieve any of these goals of 2030. So you would not be reducing the energy demand via insulation. The only way that you can do is use your roof space. So villas have usually a very large footprint, and they have enough roof space to install solar panels. Now those solar panels, all of them photovoltaic, would probably be from between 4 and 5 times more of what the law requires at the moment. So that would be very difficult to achieve in apartments or in semi-detached houses that have very little roof space. With new construction, all of that is very achievable. The two latest project developments that we have delivered, the houses are 85% self-sufficient, so they only require 15% additional energy that comes from the
Okay,
grid.
so that's 85%. So what else can they do to achieve 90% or emission-free, like totally renewable energy? How is that possible?
Well, again, emission-free means that you're not, throwing to the atmosphere smoke coming from natural gas or diesel. So you can do that, change into aerothermia, and then you only use up electricity. But then the next question is, how much electricity do you need? If you change to electricity, but you're still with the old heat pumps before aerothermia, you will be using up a lot of energy. So then it depends how far you want to go. You use up electricity, and maybe electricity, you're in an area of the country that it all comes from renewables, or it all comes from nuclear, or it all comes from coal. So the pool or the energy mix that you use, you have no control over that. Where you have control is in making that transition from fossil fuels to electricity. If you have a house with a pitch roof, you may need to consider to turn that into a flat roof so that you can install and create that space to install the amount of solar panels that you're going to need.
Okay. And what factors should be considered when choosing windows and doors?
Well, fortunately, we're in a climate zone that doesn't require very demanding glasses, double glazed, or windows. In Spain, as it is the case in all of Europe, the requirements for these goals of 2030 are all the same. So you will be fulfilling the law with the same requirements of a ski lodge in the Pyrenees or down here in Sotogrande. So because we seldom go below 10 degrees in the worst months of the summer, which is January and February, there's not a very big impact in the kind of windows that you use. Just the regular double glazed windows are more than enough.
Okay. And doors, are there any special requirements for doors? Because also there in the past, we have these old doors where the wind blows through the...
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, most of that in the existing houses you can get with minor adjustments. In new construction, all of those finishings are a lot more tight. So, but it's not that demanding. You bear in mind that spring and fall, which is 6 months of the year, is a climate where, regardless of whether you have underfloor heating or radiators or air conditioning, you will not be using any of that, because you just live with the windows open because the climate is very benign. So you're only looking at 2 months of the year where the temperature is going to fluctuate between 10 and 15 degrees.
And sometimes I see houses which are so well insulated and have such a good energy efficiency that it's almost too much. That means that, I don't know if it's true, but you come into a room and it smells of humidity, because the humidity that we have here and by the sea can't get out. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
That's true, and that is more the case in Northern Europe, where the climate is so aggressive, is so cold, that you need to preserve the heat and just don't open the doors, don't open the windows. But here you get a lot of condensation of humidity, smell from the air of the sea, you get oxidation, so you're always ventilating the house.
Yes.
So that means that you don't, you need insulation more in the in the walls, and you need insulation in the west facing of the building, which is where in the summer you're going to get the sunset sun, you know, hitting, you know, facing the house for about six hours a day. But other than that, that's not the main factor. The main factor is creating your own engine. Your own engine is solar panels in order to produce your own energy.
And which sustainable building materials do you think are important to consider energy efficiency?
Well,
the bricks or what do you think? Because you had always some innovative materials used.
Well, if you take the law requires to use up a level of insulation in between the facade, the outside cladding, the bricks, and the inside walls. But that insulation is, if you want, one size fits all. So you have excess insulation in the east facing side of the villa, and you have insufficient insulation in the west facing side of the villa. So what we do is, yes, we need to comply with the law and have, even if we don't need it, that excess insulation in the north or east side of the villa. But what we do is we build up the west side and we make thicker walls so that there is no heat transmission.
Okay. And what about Poniente and Levante? What kind of influence can this have here in houses?
Well, that is mainly wind, and as long as you have just normal windows that comply, that have the European Community Certificate, that will be enough. That if you don't want the wind to come in, you know, that will we will safeguard you from the wind.
On another subject, a little bit related, is water. At the moment, we have a big issue here with water in Sotogrande, and how can we incorporate water-saving fixtures and technologies to enhance all over efficiency?
That's a tough one because people use intuition to say, for example, well, if I collect the rainwater from the roof, I'll be able to water my garden. But nobody really goes into the orders of magnitude of what that entails. If you have a 500 square meters of grass garden, if you use as a unit of measurement a pool that is 12 meters long by 4 meters wide and 1.5 meters of average depth, you would need one of those pools for every 25 days. And even if you invest in all this water collection technology that exists at the moment, with the average rainfall in Sotogrande, you will not be collecting more than a pool. And you need about 10 pools per year to water your garden. So
yeah, okay, but I mean, you could say that the water doesn't go away for longer than maybe 12 hours or so. Would it be enough to make a tank into, no?
No, the proportions are not there. Whereas you have the proportions in the roof space that you have, because you have a lot of roof space for only one house, whereas the apartments don't have a roof space. You would need 10 pools. And then if you are to collect all that water, then you need to worry about health and disease.
Yeah,
so you need to treat
to keep the water clean. Yeah,
you need to keep the water, and that takes a lot chemicals, and that takes up energy. So
but it could be used for at least watering the gardens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would, you're not going to collect, given your roof surface, more than one pool per year. and you need about 10 pools. So it's
For
not
the
really
gardens?
for the
Yeah.
gardens, for 500 square meters of grass.
Okay.
Because one pool would only last 25 days. So you need to have 10 pools, so you don't have enough garden surface for 10 pools. And then if you had it, then you need to worry about treating the water. So your best option is to plan your garden and use a lot of local and Mediterranean plants. So diminish the amount of grass and play with autochthonous species that can use drip watering instead of sprinklers.
Okay, so we learned quite a lot today. Ramon, do you think it's possible that old houses can achieve this target by 2030 to reduce their emission level by 11.7% at least, or is that not possible?
It's possible. It's possible, but it will take investment.
Yes.
It will take an engineering project that looks at your house and says, well, you probably need to replace the windows, you probably need to up the insulation in the west facing of the house, and you may need to replace or switch some of those Andalusian type pitch roofs with flat roofs where you can accommodate the solar panels, because attaching the solar panels to the tiles is not going to look very good. You need to integrate that and
I guess the industry is working on that to produce more, let's say, nicer tiles or nicer solar panels. I've seen that Tesla is using already like roof tiles as solar panels. Do you think there's a future in this?
Yes, we're seeing, new technology come just about every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But more than everything, what we're seeing is an increase in the capacity of the solar panel. So the same solar panel that was maybe 1.5 meters times 1 meter used to produce 150 watts. Now they're up to 500. Probably in a year they'll be up to 1,000. So we will need less and less surface of solar panels to achieve the same energy production.
Excellent. Well, that's good news. Well, hopefully we are going to meet all these targets of the EU, because we all want to have an easier life here with less energy emissions and with much more renewable energies that we all need. Thank you so much, Ramon, for coming and for taking time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.